Hello, this is ametamartha with Collection Ascension. This is going to be the energy reading for the first quarter moon, and this will last through to the full moon on the 14th. The first quarter moon on June 7th. I also noticed that I had sat down to start recording at 22:11 in military time, and 22:11 is about a rebirth into a new beginning. So hopefully this first quarter moon will really ignite the intentions had for the new moon, and will help us to align in such a way that it will motivate those intentions. So I will start. I ask for clear guided messages for the collective regarding what is to come for this new week or lunar cycle. Okay. One more, please. We got all of the 10s. And all of them are in reverse. 10s are about completion. We also have 2 9s. This is really intense, heavy energy, and I'm not sure if this is what we are coming out of or what we're heading into. But either way, at the center of it is our rebirth, like I said to begin with. The transformation that'll cause a new beginning. Okay. The tormenting thoughts and agonizing sensations of pain that keep us up at night, that program the subconscious mind to be less optimistic and a little bit more ungrateful, comes from inhibition. Doing too much of anything that inhibits you from embodying your truest potential. And what that does is it takes away harmony and celebration, that gratitude. But in reality, it isn't necessarily as hard to accomplish something more prosperous than we perceive it to be. Being able to engage in such a way that we ask what is best for us and then actually commit ourselves to do it, regardless of how upsetting it might be in real time to the ego. The way that things come up to be processed and given attention to is not always comfortable, but neither is growth. And I feel like a lot of the time we find ourselves in a state of resistance when it is uncomfortable, because the ego wants to be protective, wants to maintain comfort, wants to maintain safety. And if we are used to the establishment of a specific thought pattern, to make the effort to try to change that is technically a threat in the eyes of ego. And that's why it becomes uncomfortable. If you feel called to do something and make a specific shift in your life, that essence is the clarity that is needed to continue forward, and is usually what causes us to start making those adjustments to take the initial step to make those changes. But once we are in it and having to maintain it as a practice is when we start second guessing ourselves. So for us to accomplish this death and rebirth here, we're going to have to change our perspective and look at the things that we do have and the things that we have to be grateful for, because these two tens are prosperity. These two tens are abundance. They are all about seeing the world as our oyster, seeing things for what they truly are, which is a blessing to even have the opportunity to function here on the third dimension. Though the perspective kills that optimistic spirit. When we overwork ourselves in the third dimension, it kills that spirit. It's like, which type of completion are you wanting to see fulfilled? Fear, stress, and anxiety, or love, calm, and clarity? And, we're also being told to keep our wits about us in the way of protecting and preserving what it is that we do have to be thankful for. And that will jumpstart and maybe very slowly, though, begin a transformation in the subconscious mind. I've brought it up before. This card always makes me think about the marriage of the conscious and subconscious mind. What is programmed into the subconscious mind through conscious beliefs is hardwired as we sleep. So if we stay up all night with our fears and anxieties, it's going to be solidified in our brain physically, so that the subconscious mind will manifest that reality to prove the belief of fear and stress true. You will start to subconsciously take note of the reasons why you should have fear and should feel stressed. So if we do go to bed thinking of all the things that we can preserve in our thought field that we want to see manifested, we start to feel that stress and that fear. the unknown, then you think, okay, well, what is known? I can breathe oxygen. I am here under a contract of opportunity to live a life experience. There is purpose in what I'm going through, and I will find the reason. Everything that happens is in my best interest. Coming up with your own affirmations to speak at night and allowing those fear feelings and the bodily responses that come up when the fight or flight is engaged in, your wrong chemical. When I can't think of what it's called. The chemicals that are released in your brain when your fight or flight response has been cortisol. When cortisol is released in the body, there needs to be an acknowledgement of the feeling it causes, and then a counteracted effort to calm that so that oxytocin will be released. So doing some deep breathing, holding yourself, meditating, laughing, positive affirmation, things that will put you on a new path that the fear response tells you to avoid. So if you can rewire your mind when you feel that negative feeling to create it to be a reminder to do a positive action, then you will, through that negative experience, manifest a positive reality because you allowed it to serve you. And then you can actually express gratitude to the negative sensation for bringing something that was belittling within the mind field to your attention. And that is how you rewire your brain. And then you can start to begin to feel as though you aren't up against all of these negative thoughts, all of the ruminations that come to you during the day, the things that make you feel overwhelmed and stressed. And then you can finally start to feel alive again. I would like to ask for some clarifiers on the Ten of Swords and the Devil, please. Thank you. Okay. We are getting in our own way of divine and, I guess, the spiritual blessing of our gifts to come in quickly and with haste, toward us, in through the crown, out through the third eye, with our own diminishing beliefs. We're taking on too many mindsets that actually lie to our conscious mind or subconscious mind. Our conscious beliefs are lying to our subconscious mind. Subconsciously, we do know that we are incredibly powerful beings here experiencing something that's very difficult and will be very rewarding. But as we program what is not in the forefront of our minds with things that contradict that power, we're actually robbing ourselves of our own potential. And it's not like we do this on purpose. We are programmed to do it by society, by generational iniquity, by belittling beliefs. And ultimately, I think each and every one of us are here with the responsibility to alter that for the bloodline and the furthering of the path of our lineage. If you were raised a specific way that was stifling to you, then it's your responsibility to recognize that, to recognize the damaging effects it's had on you, and to put an end to that for yourself. And then when you start encountering people, you will have established a new reality, a new belief system, and a new thought pattern. And then if you also procreate, then you will treat your children with those that is the respect that you initially put down for yourself. Let's see. How do we upright the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles? By speaking our truth, no matter what. What is to come of this rebirth, other than the shift in perspective? Haha! This card has shown itself and flipped 3 different times and finally came out. So we have Temperance and the Sun. So allowing ourselves to take this opportunity with feeling honored for the opportunity will engage the integration of the mind, body, spirit to where our internal function will work as one for us and no longer against us. We will be grounded in our physical, our emotional, our thought, and our spiritual selves. We will be able to balance, and then we will be able to look at the world through new eyes. Eyes of a child that sees all the magic in everything. The one who was never told that, things aren't, or something mundane is not incredibly important. Any further messages? We're still seeing, or not seeing, that literally everything is up to us. It's our chance to let the wheel come into motion. And this is also another completion card. So and it's another 10. That's probably why it is another completion card. Also, so with all of these 10s coming in, with the suits, it goes from 1 to 10, then, the court cards, and then back to the ace. And what I'm seeing here is that we are right on this new, or the kind of the ledge that the Fool is going to jump off of. We're right on the precipice of something new that we've never experienced before. And the energy this week is either going to take us down one path or the next. Do you want to further establish the lifestyle that you have lived and continue the patterns over again and allow this opportunity of completion and real healing and new beginning to be something that is having to wait upon? It's more like starting this negative cycle over. Or are we going to go down the path where we cut that off right now and continue forward with optimism, with clarity, with expression and passion, and a sense of purpose? And I had seen on the timestamp here, ooh, that's cool, 1919, and also military time as I open my phone is 22:33. So I'm just going to look into all of those. I'll go ahead and just look up 22:11 verbatim as well. 2211 is telling you to be more open to new ideas and experiences. They want you, or the angels want you to be braver and more spontaneous in your actions and stop caring about what's not important. 2233 is a sign that you need to have faith and trust in your abilities, use your skills, talents, and inner wisdom to identify positive opportunities and go after new undertakings with enthusiasm, courage, and confidence. And 1919 is a sign that you are connected to the holy. It is through this connection that you will be able to fulfill your deepest aspirations. Your guardian angels are letting you know that your good deeds and abundant energy go hand in hand. So that really also solidifies the whole story. I love when they do that. So I'm also going to get some oracle cards from the Ask Your Guides book. It's written by Sonia Choquette, and I put it in the description box below in every video, because if you do not have a familiarity with how to connect with universal communication, or are not as knowledgeable of the way that the universe tries to communicate with you, then this book is very good at expressing different types of guides and different ways that those guides try to get your attention. So this oracle deck is which guides are around us right now this week that will help us to maintain this positive outlook through the entirety of the week, so that we can really go into this full moon with a new perspective and just and ever growing gratitude, since that is what the full moon is about, gratitude and celebration. So who is around us this week who would like us to ask for assistance as we go forward? We have suffering with the divine teachers. It seems like a lot of a lot of the beliefs that hold us back are going to come up. So just be on guard against that. Don't let the feelings of suffering overtake the opportunity that is presented in those moments to transmute that and alchemize the experience into something more positive anymore. Okay. We also have devotion with the nature spirits. Again, that's been a pretty consecutive one. Imagination with the inner child. And then risk with the joy guides. And I like how these cards kind of correspond. That's interesting. The pattern in it. Okay, I'm going to read from the book. Actually, here, let me show you. So we have suffering. You know, it's like they're coming up, being reborn from that suffering. They were never not surrounded by guides and help. One thing I think a lot of people who aren't very well versed in the more spiritual nature of things, I don't know, if you're new to concepts and find yourself here, regardless of if you are more religious or more spiritual or what have you, you have to ask for help. I mean, that's what prayer is about, and so on. People might think, oh, I'm divinely protected, I have guides, I have, angels, God loves me, but you also have free will. And as long as that free will is engaged, you aren't going to get everything so easily if you yourself don't engage with the beings and energies you have around you. Expressions of gratitude really do call in more of that positive energy that guides have to offer. But then also, if you start noticing a synchronicity, if you start seeing something, verbally express. Even if you don't see anything, even if you're having a negative feeling and you need help, verbally express like, hey, whatever it is I'm not seeing, show it to me. Whatever I need to hear right now that will help me continue, let me, lead me to it. That interaction really does offer a quick response when sometimes I feel like, even for myself, the guides around me are like, oh my God, please just say something. They're just sitting and waiting, because it's not like they're going to intervene in your life for you. You have to activate yourself and create a dialogue and relationship with these beings. Anyway, then you have devotion with the nature spirits. Those little nuggets of blessing, hidden in the trees. Imagination with the inner child. And I like how we've had this card recently too, but I like how this adult here, it's giving the child permission. Then we also have risk with the joy guides. And I am not surprised that these are back, because I have been feeling them lately. Joy guides are notoriously mischievous. Did you get your shirt caught on anything lately? Do you drop things when you're already annoyed? All that kind of stuff. That's a joy guide. And joy guides are also around to allow you to take a step back and find it funny that those cosmic jokes are occurring, so that you can kind of stop taking yourself so seriously for a moment. So let's go ahead. Hang on, my cat keeps scratching my butt. Suffering, divine teachers, accidents, sickness, trauma, and betrayal. An important part of being human is something that can't be avoided is the pain that comes from simply being vulnerable to the physical world. Your divine teachers warn you that you're facing such a time. Sickness may be at hand, and accidents, traumas, sudden loss, and injury are potentially around you. Whether confronted with something severe or just an ongoing struggle that's getting through the day, your physical body may be challenged, and pain and suffering may follow. This isn't meant to scare you, but rather to warn you that you are not as grounded as you could be. In fact, you may be attracting injury or drama to gain some personal space. Your divine teachers advise you to be open to the fact that any pain or upset you attract isn't without hidden gifts and opportunities. Your broken leg or aching back, for example, may provide you with much needed rest that you wouldn't otherwise take. Your runny nose and cough may give you the privacy that you need to regenerate your spirit. It's also important to note that any pain or drama that you attract isn't greater than your ability to handle it. The greatest upset you face might actually be in trying too hard to avoid the pain, which in the end may cause even more of it. In other words, your fear or the fear that you won't be able to abide by discomfort is far more disabling than anything you might actually incur. In accepting the upset of the moment with grace, you will gain wisdom, compassion, and strength. Your divine teacher's message to you is embrace and be patient with your pain. It will bring insight and understanding, and in time, peace. You will heal. like I said, that whole be on guard about what might be stirred up this week. So that's a bit of a confirmation on that. Devotion with nature spirits, inspiration, contemplation, nature, and faith. The presence of God is everywhere. So if you feel disconnected from the divine, you're the one who left. Your nature spirits are beckoning you back to the place of awareness that reconnects you to source. Do not allow your mind to isolate you in fear or get stuck dwelling on misery. Instead, go outside, take in the natural world, which is a beautiful gift for you to enjoy. See the divine all around you. Focus on the beauty, power, and holiness that nature affirms. Humbly surrender to this greatest of forces present in all things, including you. Your nature spirit's message is breathe in the divine. You are God and God is you. And we have imagination with the inner child. Nocturnal dreams, daydreaming, reverence, and fantasy. Your divine inner child spirit is knocking at your door, inviting you to step away from the serious life filled with too much work and drudgery and allow yourself some well-deserved playtime. Your life is presently over-controlled by others' needs, too much to burden it. Your life is presently overwhelmed by others' needs and much too burdened with responsibility. Consequently, you're losing touch with your inspiration and creativity. Listen to your inner child. Take time to daydream, fantasize, visualize, wonder, and explore. Feed your inner child with art classes, theater tickets, concerts, and other types of recreational activities. If you don't honor your inner child's needs, she or he will get your attention by throwing one heck of a childish tantrum, manifesting in a chronic bad mood or even a nasty depression. You need this magic right now, and your inner child's message to you is come play with me. Risk with the joy guides, curiosity, delight, bliss, and charisma. Life feels good right now, and you're barely scratching the surface of what is possible. Follow your joy guides as they lead you into a new, sensual, and highly appealing territory. Flaunt your sexual self, flirt, laugh, explore, take your free spirit for a walk on the wild side. Don't be afraid of daring exploits. You need to push the limits of the past, familiar, the predictable, and the safe, free from fear's grips. I'm going to say that again. You need to push the limits past the familiar, the predictable, and the safe, free from fear's grips. This will give you psychic juice to create. Your joy guide's message to you is let your hair down and live a little. So I think, maybe the things that establish this negative reality is really just coming from the fact that we take ourselves too damn seriously. We take what we're going through like it is the end of our world, but really that's like getting caught up in a character's development in a TV show you're watching when in reality you're sitting on your bed. We can empathize with ourselves and our own experience, but when it comes down to it, we are stardust in flesh suits. And this body dies. The experience of your name is going to end. So if you can learn how to use this meat to enjoy your life experience and what this dimension has for you, and learn how to balance that with what you need to do for your spirit's nurture or nourishment, in between those moments, you can figure out how to create order within yourself. Let's not get so wrapped up in our persona's experience and figure out how to couple our body with our spirit, our physical experience with our spiritual calling. Learning how to enjoy what we have before us, but also not lose sight of the fact that this is actually a test and opportunity for spiritual ascension. Because also I think, taking it too seriously, even if we are just looking at the things that are necessary for our spiritual growth, is still missing the mark a little bit. If everything is always serious, then what is the fucking point? Anyway, I hope that resonated to some degree, and that you are blessed with peace and patience as these things that are coming up for us this week to be transmuted are taken on with grace and faith and optimism. I speak into existence a reality where each and every one of us remembers the truth of this experience and is able to embody the wisdom that it has to offer. Thank you so much.